But it's not an issue of my forgiveness. It's an issue of my fruit, right? This is so important. So what's happening is, that's what liberty is. The fact that some biblical examples of liberty are, Paul makes the example, he's going to talk later in Corinthians, to me it's one of the most wild ones that are out there. He says, when you go to the temple, not to the temple, but when you go to like Aphrodite, Apollos, one of those temples that we talked about, he says, when you go to the temple to get the meat sacrificed to idols. Now, we're all in like whatever it is, 8.6% inflation. I don't know if you've been to the grocery store lately. It's getting a little spicy sometimes, right? You know, and I buy these stocking caps, and I think 2 years ago it was like $9 for 3, and then I just went to buy, it was like $30 for 1. And I'm like, yeah, I can go without it. You know, that'll be good. But you know, so we have inflation, right? And so one of the weird things about meat sacrificed to idols, like we talked about previously, is that meat that you brought to the temple of Apollos or Aphrodite or any of the other Asherah, you know, different gods of the age, that meat would later be sold by that particular temple's priests in the markets. And so you could go to the market and it would actually be cheaper than, say, kosher meat, because it was meat that the market was just trying to offload to make money for the temple. Does that make sense? And so as Jewish believers, a lot of believers had issue with that, because in the Old Testament, you were not allowed to eat meat sacrificed to idols. Remember that? I mean, it's like one of the big ones. It's all over Deuteronomy. It's in Leviticus multiple times. Do not eat meat sacrificed to idols. And then Paul comes along and says, hey, as a Christian, we know that those idols are nothing. We don't worry about them. So he says, when you go to the temple, meaning Aphrodite or Apollos, not the Jewish temple, because this is in Corinth, he says, when you go to the temple to get your meat, then eat it and enjoy it. But if someone sees you, one of your brothers from church sees you, or your sisters from church sees you, and they're stumbled by that, they're like, whoa, what are you doing in that? That's crazy. You shouldn't be doing that. He says, then you shouldn't go in there anymore. But the issue isn't that you were there in the first place. The issue is you're trying to help the faith of the weaker brother. Which is interesting, because I think the modern day application to that would be, sometimes you might go into a Thai restaurant and see a Buddha, and you go, oh, I can't eat here, it's idolatry, and oh my goodness, there's a banana there, and I just don't want to have any part of this Buddha. But Paul would say, no, you're free from that. So that's a place in the scripture where we have liberty as Christians. Go to Thai food if you want to, sit and eat it, and you can just chuckle at the Buddha with a banana, because there's no power in it. Now, having said that, and I don't want to get too far off on this because it's not where we're going today, if it really stumbles you, because it's important to be honest, if it really stumbles you to go and to eat in front of that Buddha because you feel like you're putting your hand of approval on that, then it's not for you to eat at Thai restaurants. And that's okay. It's where you're at in your faith. So we won't want to judge anyone who refuses or who goes and eats, and we don't want to condemn anyone, or we don't want to verbally assault someone who does go and eat. Right? That's what Romans 14 tells us. That's not our place as Christians, that each one has a liberty. And there's other examples of Christian liberty, but the point is that what's happening right here in Corinth is in verse 12 and 13, I have the right to do anything. This is a Corinthian saying from the church in Corinth that they're making an exaggerated claim upon God's liberty. Well, if I'm not under the law anymore, and that's the case, then, I think I'm just going to go and do what my society wants me to do. I'm going to go and be involved with this, where they're completely inundated with it. And that's where our society is in general, right? That fornication, sex before marriage, cohabitation, whatever you want to call it, that's the norm. It's the norm in Christian circles, and it's the norm in worldly circles. It is the absolute norm, okay? And that's not out of condemnation. It's just what it is. So he's writing back to them, and he's saying the first plight is this: I have the right to do anything, and his retort is this: but not everything is profitable. So in the case of going to the Thai restaurant, if we're walking into the Thai restaurant, and I say, oh man, I can't eat there because you know what, the Buddha's there, and I feel like I'm just going to be like validating Buddha to these people, or Chinese restaurants with the golden cat thing, and you're like, I'm going to be validating the golden cat, and or luck or omens, all the things that's based on. I can't do that. And you're with me, you have two options, right? You can be like, are you serious right now? You're going to let some stupid Buddha statue foul you up? How lame are you? This restaurant's really good. Who cares about the Buddha? Haven't you read the Bible? Like, the Buddha's not a big deal, man. It's going to be okay. And if I go in and I violate my conscience, and I'm like sweating, not because I got 5 stars, but I'm sweating because I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can't believe, I'm in here. I can't believe I'm doing this, and I feel condemned. Then you haven't helped me, right? Or I haven't helped you if the roles are reversed. And so my liberty has moved to a place where it is, how does he put it here? Not beneficial. Now, this is a case where there's no context for fornication that's beneficial. There's no context where it's okay. It's outlawed in the New Testament and in the Old Testament. And so they're making an exaggeration. They're saying, hey, all things are lawful. Hey, I can do it. And he's saying, no. This is not beneficial. This is not beneficial at all.